Finally, my dear people, Happy New Year! How does it feel being in this new year? Actually, how does it feel being one of those that have crossed to this end? The feeling is untold. I know how you feel. And have you taken time to thank your God for granting you the breath? You know, you can lack everything and it is okay. But the moment you lack breath, yeah? So please take time, tell your God, thank you for getting me here. Now, welcome on board to another episode of The Unscripted with NK for Nancy Care, a home of authentic conversations where we happen to speak our minds, our feelings, our thoughts, our experiences without fear of being judged. And if along the way you find that you can relate, please welcome on board. Let me meet you in the comment section and tell me. And let's share more from there. Now, as much as it is New Year, you've noticed that your girl seems to be bothered a little bit. Yeah? Probably from the title of this given video. And yeah, imagine my guy is threatening to leave me at this point for a condition that your girl totally has no control over. Guys, so painful. So the guy says he cannot be spending sleepless nights for my troubles. But then, people, it's not like I'm not doing anything. I've tried literally everything that I could come across, all the recommendations, all the home remedies, but nothing is working. So really, I thought these situationships, relationships are for good, for worst. That is what the good books say. But really, he's not ready to do that. So I don't know. The moment he leaves me, where am I going to end to? Because I'm told the market is no longer a market, that it is very dirty to pick something substantial from it. Where I come from, there is this phrase, soko imechafuka, to mean it's the market is dirty, of course, that the only thing remaining on the market is avocado. And the avocado is overripe and it has been messed up by people who presses it or who are pressing it to confirm whether it is ripe. So really, who would want such a commodity? So I'm scared. No wonder I'm here that at the end of it all, if you can be able to help me out, please, I'm in distress and so I need you dearly, my dear people. Now, we are just from Christmas, yeah, and you're still in the festivity and the holiday mood. And I want you to just go back a little bit. How were such times during your time when you were a kid? Parents were all over trying to buy new clothes for their children, new shoes for their children, preparing new delicacies. Isn't it? You remember it, eh? But then some parents could not afford that. So probably you'd be on the fence admiring that child that the parent have been able to dress them up for the festivity. Yeah? Yes? If you're that person, then welcome on board. You are the person that I want. You might feel me, you might give me a solution. But if you are the one that was being admired on such a period, please just leave the space, because really we've really suffered to again suffer the heartbreak of being laughed at by you people because you cannot really relate. So a moment, the space is not yours. Thank you. So the admirers, when did you first wear shoes? Yes? Do you recall that time? For your girl here, the first time I put on shoes was when I was in class 8, about to do my exams. And particularly it was during prayer day. In my country, Kenya, when candidates are about to sit for their exams, what happens? A prayer session is held to present the candidates before God, asking for God for everything, including protection during protection and good health during that period. And within this period, every child, every learner, every student, every pupil, every candidate would ensure that they looked their best. Eh? Whether you are from rich or poor, regardless of your background, you would ensure that you looked your best depending on your background on that day. And so your girl was not going to be left out. But then remember, back home, the only shoe that was existing was my mother's rubber shoe. So what was going to happen? So I go home and I tell my mother, Mommy, tomorrow is my day. It is my occasion. And she tells me, yes, I know. And I'm like, I'm not going to appear for it barefoot or barefooted. She's like, okay, so what do we do? What are you suggesting? I'm like, Mommy, of course I need shoes. The lady looks at me and I can tell what was going on in her head. I think she was saying now, what's wrong with this girl? Is she insane? Doesn't she, can she use her eyes to tell what is happening around? Yeah? Where does she expect me to get money at this point? So she tells me, girl, you're not serious. What am I to do? I have no money, and if anything, not at such a period when really I cannot do anything. Huh? This is an ambush. Even if I was to go out and do my thing to find one for you, it cannot be at this time. So I tell her, Mommy, relax. Stop worrying. Why bother yourself? She's like, okay, so you have a solution. And I tell her, but you have a pair of rubbers in here. She says, okay, yes. And I'm like, my trouble solved. So the lady looks at me, my mother looks at me, and she's like, okay, what do you mean? Huh? You want to wear my shoe? I'm like, yeah, mommy, those are the shoes that are going to serve me. And she tells me, go take them. Probably she wanted to see the unfolding drama. So I went, took my mother's shoes eventually, and guys, you should have seen me walk in them. For the same reason, the very reason that you have, I was literally pulling. Is it pulling or pushing? Whatever it is. I was literally pulling these shoes on the floor. Why? Yeah, you are there. So how did I do? I went, picked pieces of papers and stuffed them in those shoes to bridge the gap between my feet and that space that was remaining. So at the end of the day, I appeared for my day all glammed, guys. Yes, let's not talk about my uniform because really you didn't want to see the behind of that uniform. It had all patches or all shades of patches of my uniform. I don't know whether I'm making sense. And it was as skimpy as it was, not because I was slaying, my dear people, but because that dress had served me. It had seen days. You know, our parents, our old parents, those are the people that would buy you a cloth for you to grow in that cloth or for you to grow with the cloth. Hmm? So imagine a dress that was once sweeping the floor is now short. Actually, I was slaying without knowing that I was slaying in a skimpy dress. So yeah, my dear people, I'm sorry for that long story, but my partner, this is his problem. He says that as I'm snoring, he's busy trying to push my legs or my feet away from him because he cannot stand the texture of them. He says they irritate him and cause him discomfort because they are as hard as an animal's skin. That's how he puts it. Guys, isn't that an insult? I think of what can I tell him, but then I'm like, Nancy, relax. But that is the truth. Again, where I come from, there is a phrase, ukweli huuma, that truth pains. And it really pains me when that guy says that my feet are as hard as an animal's skin. So yeah, imagine that is the reason he's threatening to leave me alone. So I need really your help. I do not suggest putting on socks because that one I've tried. The last time I did it, I had to pull it in the middle of the night because really I did want to help this guy in staying awake. Because my feet really itched and sweated. Is that English? That night. So yes, guys, that is what is bothering me and my situationship or relationship. So you can relate to this. Let's meet in the comment section plus solutions. We shall hug ourselves there.